The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Hey, Trevor, you ever been arrested before? Huh? Allegedly. Don't say anything.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Buddy, how did you know I have a court date coming up? Anyways, we'll save that for the Substack. Welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer currently with Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into the show, we got to thank you for tuning into Locked On Canucks because it is your Canucks every damn day. We're not here without you and you tuning into the show, and I'm not here with my brother, Kyle Bowen. And Kyle, it was a tumultuous season covering this team, but as we found out, we found the real reason why they failed this season. Okay, there's lots of reasons why they failed, but there's a main reason here why they failed. Before we get into that, I got to ask you, man, how you doing? You're 31 and a half, or as I like to call it,
wow,
31
dude,
32 and a half. Sorry, man, my bad. I still think he was 31.
Yeah, because you're an asshole and you just don't respect the moment, or you don't know anything about me, man. That is something else, man. I thought you'd be better at being a friend. I honestly, Trevor, I thought you would be better at how do I say it? Like coming up with episodes, because now you want to just like talk about excuses because you found out why the Canucks have sucked, like injuries. Look at the data. Seventh most injured team in NHL history. Like, you're about to get arrested by all hockey fans because you want to talk about injuries.
Yeah, man, the friendship falling apart for sure between you and I. I just realized I don't even know your middle name, bro. Wait, you don't have one, do you?
It's Chavi. What?
I'm learning stuff about you. Can I call you Chavi from now on?
Chavi Bowen, dude.
Chavi Bowen.
That's what they call me in Colombia. But my girlfriend's not letting me go to Colombia anymore. So, Trevor, stop putting the blame on me, okay? Stop putting the pressure on me. You literally want to do an episode because your data analysis about injuries and how they affect teams, and boom, bam, the Canucks were what? The seventh most injured team last season, and that's why we didn't make the playoffs.
All right, yeah. Let's dive into the numbers a bit here on Locked On Canucks. And look, it's putting things into perspective, right? There's a number of reasons why the Canucks missed the playoffs, but oh shit, are they coming? Yeah.
Boom. It's okay.
Dude, trauma, man. Come on. Jesus Christ. Come on. I'm a Surrey boy, man. The trauma's there. Look, a number of reasons why the Canucks missed the playoffs, but injuries were at the forefront, right? And according to our friends over at NHL Injury Viz, yes, the Canucks were the seventh most injured team in the league this season, according to cap hit, right? So in terms of the cap hit out of the lineup. But honestly, when you break it down a bit further, I looked at the teams ahead of the Canucks, and the Oilers, they had Draisaitl and McDavid miss 11 games each, but Evander Kane missing 82 inflated their number. The St. Louis Blues, they were missing Torrey Krug and Nick Leddy for most of the season. That might have been addition by subtraction, to be honest, for the St. Louis Blues. So I would say that the Canucks were more affected than by injuries than St. Louis. The San Jose Sharks ranked first in the league in terms of time missed due to injury, but that's due to Logan Couture and Mark-Edward Vlasic missing most of the season with their big cap hits. So I think the teams that really were potentially banged up more than the Canucks were Minnesota. They missed Kaprizov, Eriksson Ek for most of the season. The Islanders missed Barzal, Duclair, Dobson, and Varlamov for a large period of time. The Avs, who did have McKinnon and Makar pretty much play the whole season, did miss Landeskog for the whole regular season, missed guys like Nichushkin, Lehkonen, Colton, Wood, Duran, Manson. So I would say that the Avs, Islanders, and the Wild are probably the only teams that were banged up more than the Canucks. But again, look at the Canucks, man. We talked about it. Quinn Hughes missing a bunch of time. Elias Patterson missing 82 games. I mean, he missed about 19 games. JT Miller didn't even get included in that calculation for his personal leave, but he missed 10 games, as we all know. And I broke this down according to, point shares.
Esser missed early on.
Yeah.
Hronek, Demko, like, it never stopped. Dakota Joshua just never, ever stopped, And, I feel as if both times Patterson got hurt, that's when he was picking it up, right? Holiday break, finally scoring 2 goals in a game for the first time in 8,647 days. Gets injured in the same game. The Rangers game, right? He's playing better. Going into that road trip, in the middle of that road trip, gets hurt. So, yeah, the Canucks were hurt a lot, Trevor.
Yeah, they were hurt a lot. And I think to me, they were arguably a top 3 team in terms of teams that were affected by injuries this season, right? If not maybe 4th on that list. So again, after the 2023-24 season where they were, one of the healthiest teams in the league, I think they were a top 5 team in terms of being affected by injuries this season. And, I did nerd out and take it a step further. I used the point shares statistic on Hockey Reference. And basically that's the amount of points overall that a player's contributed to their team's success. So, basically when I broke it down for the time missed and based on averages, the Canucks lost 11.4 points due to injury this season, right? And of course, they missed the playoffs by 6 points. So now that being said, there were obviously no team's going to be completely healthy. But even if the Canucks just had average injury luck this season, let's say that they, missed 5.5 points. And in that case, they are basically tied with the St. Louis Blues for the last wild card spot in the West. Maybe they get their act together with one of the last games against Vegas and actually play hard instead of kind of coasting towards the finish line. So again, it was a season where everything went wrong for the Canucks. And interestingly, the top 3 Canucks, I think the top 3 losses to the Canucks this season, obviously Quinn Hughes, the Canucks, they would, I think by my math would have had about 2.5 points more Quinn Hughes in the lineup. Philip Peronic as well. They missed a couple points with him being gone. And then Thatcher Demko was the big one, right?
Dude, I think that Quinn Hughes is, sorry to cut you off, but Quinn Hughes is like, how many games did he miss this year? 16, 13, 17?
I think it was 14.
14. If he's healthy for those 14 games, and he played so injured in a lot of those games too. Like if he's healthy, the Canucks are in the playoffs. He was that good. He was that good this year. He's like, I'm gonna pick this team up 8 more points. But yeah, Demko, carry on.
Well, yeah, I think Thatcher Demko, I kind of, when I did this math, I subtracted Kevin Lankinen starts because he was a positive addition to the Canucks and added what Demko's averages of the past 3 seasons. And Thatcher Demko, if he was healthy, would have added another 8 points to this hockey team. Call it 4 points overall when you subtract what Kevin Lankinen's done. So Thatcher Demko was really, in my eyes, the biggest loss to the Vancouver Canucks this season. Of course, Kyle, like you said, Quinn Hughes missing 14 games and playing injured for a lot of those was a big part of it as well. But it's crazy to think how things could have been different. And, would Rick Tocchet have stayed? I mean, we can't really play the what-if game too much now. But, the Canucks, again, if they had, I'm telling you, even average injury luck, I think they're pretty much right there, tied with the St. Louis Blues for the final wildcard spot in the West.
Wow. Trevor Beggs, man. Are you serious, dude? Excuses, man. That's just the way it is. Because I get it. I've been on that wagon too. Like Rick Tocchet's still here if like we have injury luck, I've been there. But when we talked about this episode yesterday, and I had to ask the hard questions because we're here for solutions, man. No excuses, okay? Like how do teams do it? Like, if they are injured a lot, how does Minnesota make the playoffs? Oh, it's because they banked so much points early on when Kaprizov was lighting the league on fire, right? Oh, and how did Colorado do it for so long? Based on, like, I know they still have McCarr forever, but, like, they were injured. Like, you should have seen the top of their whole lineup in, like, November, December. They were missing everyone. It felt like it. Oh, because Nathan McKinnon played all games and he actually showed up. Like excuses, but this team desperately, again, I know it's redundant, but if there was ever a season for Patterson to carry the team, it should have happened this season. And I just hope, like, don't you think that, like, he doesn't make any excuses and he kind of like takes that to heart? Like, damn, we couldn't make the playoffs if I just showed up, because injuries are always going to happen.
Dude, what's with these millionaires making excuses, man? I mean, Elias Patterson with the injuries last year and wanted to make more money than William Nylander, and Austin Matthews with the passenger comment. I'm tired of these guys making 8 figures a year, making excuses when they're the highest paid players in the business. And I'm taking shots at Patterson and the Toronto Maple Leafs here. But Kyle, I think you and I talked about it on the phone yesterday. And, really, I think there's 2 main solutions when you have injuries in your lineup, and it's your stars showing up and it's the depth. But really, most importantly, it is your stars showing up and carrying the team, especially when they are healthy and in your lineup. And, the Canucks were missing Besser and they were missing Miller early on. And, Patterson was pretty good for that 10-game stretch. But again, as soon as Miller comes back, it kind of falls off the rails again. Then he gets injured and Hughes gets injured. So, but again, when Patterson was in the lineup early on, especially in October when everyone was healthy, and this team was losing 5-2 to the Islanders, 6-0 to the Devils, 7-3 to the Oilers. Your stars got to step up and make a difference in those games, and Elias Patterson didn't do that. And of course, again, Demko missing almost the whole season is something that we don't talk about as much. We're distracted by this whole Patterson and Miller fiasco. But those guys, they needed to step up, and they obviously did this season.
Yeah, because they produced the miracles, and we needed that. Like, again, the more and more we do a synopsis on the year and whatnot, like you could pull so many points for why things went wrong. And it's a team sport, and everything deserves kind of like equal effort when it comes to, again, why it went wrong. But at the end of the day, I'm Kyle Bound. I lean on the stars, and it's Patterson's fault. It's okay to say that, man. He had like 45 points this year, man. Trevor, one other name that you didn't really mention, or we haven't mentioned on this episode, when it came to like teams being injured and whatnot, and how did they get through it, and all that jazz. It's the Oilers, man. Like, I feel like McDavid didn't play every game. I know he came back early when he was supposed to be out for longer, but that's a team that always gets the most out of Leon Draisaitl when McDavid is not in the lineup, or he's hurt, or he's not 100%. And like, injuries are always going to happen. It's sports. It's football on ice. And I hate doing episodes like this because excuses, even if it makes all the sense in the world. But as a Canucks fan, as a sports fan, as a diehard of a single team in this league, you want miracles. And you want the most expensive players in hockey to defy the odds and do the most for an organization that, again, you cheer for. And that's the standard. That's the standard. You always hear it, right? Oh, you can't just blame one guy. You can't just blame Patterson. It's a team effort. It's not all on him. Look at Demko's Papatia's Pepto-Bismol, Papalitis. It's not one guy. Dude, if Patterson played to his potential, the Canucks, I'm not saying they're still playing hockey in late May, which, ultimately matters the most, but they make the playoffs. They probably keep Rick Tocchet, right? He's the alien. He's supposed to produce the miracles. Let us know. Is it injuries when you look back at it now in late May? Like, is it injuries, or was it Patterson? Who do you blame more for us not making the playoffs? I like to blame the 5th highest paid player in hockey. Call me an asshole or call me Kyle Bound. It is what it is. Anyways, Trevor disconnected. Everyone hit the like button. We'll get to your comments. All 11 of you right here. What are you guys doing at 2 p.m. on a Friday? Y'all off work early, huh? Y'all sipping some beers. Not tuning in outside of you, the 11 of you. But hey, we're living a blessed life. We live in the dream. We doing this at the Don't Doze Art Lab. And we'll get back to more Canucks talk after we shout out one of our friends. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Okay, you ever wonder why your wallet looks so empty? Well, I mean, who has a wallet that actually uses wallet feature? Okay, you ever look at your bank card and you're like, you know what? I don't even want to enter the information on my phone because I don't want to look at how much money I have left in this account because when it comes to all the shopping you do for all that food you're buying, all the entertainment you're viewing, all that online shopping you're doing, right? One click, boom, bam. Next thing you know, you got 18 toothbrushes at your front door, right? You just spent $26 because you got a good deal. Hey, good deals cost money too. And that's why you need Monarch Money, okay? Your personal CFO, okay? Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, all your investments, and all your spending in one place. So you got to stop what you're doing and start managing your money and building wealth on Monarch Money, okay? Right now, you can take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com to get 50% off your first year. 50% off, man. 50% off, and you still get all the surprising insights, right? The all-in-one convenience. Again, the easy collaboration between all your accounts and Monarch Money. Boom, bam. All of that. 50% off your first year. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for, again, half off your first year. Now, let's talk more about the Canucks, okay? people. We back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. And the people, man, the people are talking to us, Trevor. Right to us, man. For real. Let's get to it. Look at this, man. Skylar Gullickson. Dude, okay, hold up. How do you got the cool? Why the hell parents call me Kyle? You know what I'm saying? Why didn't they call me Bindi Bowen, okay? Why didn't they take a chance? Why didn't they call you Bobby Beggs? Give you a cool name. This guy's named Skylar Gullickson, and he's saying I'm a garbage man for the city of Delta. All right? I see a lot of garbage at work, and when I be watching the moves Vancouver's making or the lack thereof. Wow, this guy's trying to say he's comparing his garbage route to Alvin and Rutherford's blueprint of the Vancouver Canucks. That's dark. That's dark, man. Trevor Beggs, you ever met a garbage man before? Because honestly, one time I almost got arrested for abusing a garbage man, but allegedly. Anyways, Trevor, what are your thoughts on Skylar?
Wow.
Yep.
You don't want to elaborate there. You don't want to tell the story.
Oh, well, okay, so I was an asshole. I grew up watching a lot of South Park and WWE. I thought I was Stone Cold Steve Austin, and I was like 9 years old, and I was with the homies, and I think like I don't know if like I threw a pine cone at a garbage man, or I think it was that I threw a pine cone at a garbage man. Like, you know, like it's such a I know. Hey, I grew up. This is before I met Deepak Chopra. Okay, and you know, the garbage man. You know, he taught me a lesson. He taught me a lesson, man. And till that day, I haven't littered. You know me, Trevor. I never litter. I never litter.
True.
I make the jobs easier for those around me. I've grown up. I was 8 and now I'm 32 and a half years old. So Trevor, stop looking at me like you want to get rid of me, okay?
Okay there, Chavi Bowen. I mean, shout out to Skylar Gullickson. Shout out to all the people that comment here on Locked On Canucks. I mean, I wonder what smells worse, the garbage in the city of Delta or the moves in the Vancouver Canucks. And
oh, I thought you were going to say the garbage in Surrey. But Trevor, you saved yourself there, man. I know what you wanted to say there.
Come on, man. This is a serious Canuck show right here. Recording to you live from beautiful Surrey, British Columbia, man. It's all good. But, look, I think, Kyle, we've talked about it, right? This was the first year of this regime where you really started to question everything that's going on, right? And yeah, they were dealt a crappy hand with the Miller Patterson drama, but, to panic on that move and then panic with the Marcus Patterson move. I mean, making these moves to win now when they finished 10th overall in the Western Conference and missed the playoffs. And oh, by the way, now we're talking about trading Quinn Hughes. And oh, by the way, Elias Patterson has had 45 points. Now, again, some of that's out of management's control, but some of it was in their control, right? And again, look, we've come a long ways from the Jim Benning era, right? But you were starting to see trickles of panic moves. And these panic moves, I think, were more justifiable in the sense that, yeah, Quinn Hughes has 2 years left. Like, you do got to try and do things now to make the playoffs. You don't want to take a step back after last season and how successful they were in 23-24. So the panic moves make a little more sense than they did in the Benning era. But that being said, you still got to have a future-looking vision. And again, trading a first-round pick for Marcus Patterson, not trading veterans at the deadline when you're likely going to lose them for free. Those are moves that are, frankly, inexcusable if you're the Vancouver Canucks. And it doesn't put them in a good spot heading into this offseason.
Inexcusable, huh? What do you know about inexcusable, man? Excuses, injuries. That's why we're not here, man. It is what it is. But look, can we just talk about solutions, Trevor? I know it's Friday. Like, screw the can we just have an unorthodox episode of Locked On Canucks on this Friday and just talk to the garbage man himself, Skylar, and Nerf Husky, who has as background entertainment while he's working? Solutions, Trevor. I don't want to talk about the deadline and not trading Brock Besser because I already complained about that, the Suter thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, May 23rd, what are your thoughts on the Canucks and what they got to do? What's your blueprint looking like? How are you picking up this garbage?
Yeah, I think it involves trading a first-round pick and one of the defensemen for elite forward help. You got to try to find an elite forward in some way, shape, or form now. This is an episode I had an idea on, and I'm glad Thomas Durant's wrote about it recently, but it was how the Canucks compare to Stanley Cup contenders, right? Like, what is the blueprint? And, they need Elias Pettersson to bounce back. If he doesn't, like, you're basically going in full-on rebuild mode, which is pretty sad. And I don't want to go there because I do want to just believe in Elias Pettersson. I want to believe in the talent. I want to believe in the fact that mentally he's going to be stronger and he's going to train his ass off and be close to the player that he once was. If he's not, this team is in deep shit. Aside from that, I do think it's trading another first-round pick and one of their defensemen.
Oh, my God.
Maybe not this offseason. Maybe it's into next season. Whether it's maybe Mancini shines and you trade him, whether it's Willander, whether it's Marcus Patterson maybe, whether it's Philip Pronik, but trading one of those guys for elite forward help. Because, look, I mean, we're going to talk maybe more about the Florida Panthers next week, but, they've managed to find elite forwards via trade, right? Sam Reinhart, Matthew
Verhaeghe. Oh, my God. Kachuk.
Damn. Yeah, man. So that's where it starts for me with the Vancouver Canucks is they got to make a move to find an elite forward and they got to absolutely hit it out of the park. And I mean, moves like Carter Verhaeghe, I mean, we talked about it, right? Like he for sure what kind of profiles. He's older than Verhaeghe was at the time, but I think he's got that similar to kind of upside. You got other players in the Canucks who had down years who have upside, who could boost the floor of this team, like guys like Dakota Joshua, Nils Höglander, Philip Hedl. But you got to find another elite forward in there somehow. I mean, this team is just going to be stuck in the mushy middle without finding another elite forward.
Yeah, Trevor, you didn't have to go on a ramble for 3 minutes. All you had to say was, yo, if you want to move forward, you got to go forward. You see what I did there, Trevor?
No,
before I found what? You see, before I found Deepak Chopra, I was a different guy. Okay, for real. I'm sorry for Skylar for throwing a pine cone at you when I was 8 years old. I'm really sorry. I feel really guilty for doing that. Allegedly, please, allegedly. I don't know if everyone's getting canceled for what they did in the past life. Allegedly, okay. All in all, though, yeah, we spent a lot of time this week talking about like, just acquiring that forward, and it's gonna be hard work, man. Because at the end of the day, when you're like, oh, the Canucks need to get a forward and get an impact forward, and it's like, dude, 12 months ago we had JT Miller on this team. And a prime Brock Besser. Now we're going to lose both of them. Crazy, Anyways, next comment. Again, we're not trying to make excuses here. We're trying to just get to the bottom of what happened. Police discovered, and this comes from Lane. Police discovered Elias Patterson stole $11.6 million. And, they're not going to investigate because they don't want to hurt his feelings. Patterson's feelings, I care for them. I do, man. I care how he feels, man. One love. You're representing the neighborhood. I wish you nothing but the best. But at the same time, I just hope well, let me ask you this. Do you think he's quote unquote mature enough right now after the year he had to like not have any hard feelings against Albion and Rutherford for what they put him through to some extent this season, like call out after call out and even like demand after demand, like, because for him to move forward, ironically, like there's no grudges. There's letting go of the past. There's not taking anything personal. It's just about getting better, right? What's Ricky's quote? Don't get bitter, get better. And do you think, Patterson's on that trajectory right now? Like, what's your heart telling you? Okay, what are your sources telling you?
For me, reading between the lines at end of season media availability from listening to Patterson at the end of season media availability press conference, I don't feel incredibly positive about it, but I'm trying to believe, man. I'm trying to believe because, like I said, the Canucks are in deep.
Yeah, Trevor, you need to just shut up because you're just depressing, okay? Please, okay? Deep boom, bam, deep poop, wipe your pants. We're trying to be optimistic here, man. Again, every single time I do this, man, Deepak Chopra, you think I'm lying. Trevor just ignores me. He thinks I'm laughing. He doesn't even think Deepak Chopra is a real person. It's either that or Mel Robbins. Pick one and choose a path, Trevor. Patterson, he's getting his ish together. My sources are telling me that he's actually training with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in Sweden. That's what my sources are telling me. And dude, we brought up Stone Cold. Look at a picture of Stone Cold Steve Austin and look at a picture of Elias Patterson. They're starting to look alike. And I feel as if the Swedish rattlesnake is about to break the NHL next season in a good way for your Vancouver Canucks. Okay, he'll be back. I'll be back. Trevor will be back. And I guess we'll be back reading a couple more of your comments. But by the time we end this episode of Locked On Canucks, stick with us, hit the like button, join the Substack. We're going to update it today. Link in bio, join the Discord, and let's read some comments here on Locked On Canucks. okay, we back doing this, and that's talking about your Vancouver Canucks. The police episode, I've already admitted to a crime, assumingly allegedly. Trevor, this is a platform for you to tell your side of the story and ask for forgiveness, okay, to the people. But remember, whatever you're about to say, tell us about the time you got arrested. Just say allegedly, and we'll be fine.
All right, man. There's this one time I did have the cops call my house. I was caught on video breaking a window, and I'm sorry for it, man.
Oh.
I ended up having to pay for it, and that's what kept me out of the prison cells, man. And thankfully, that's why I'm here today, buddy.
What did you smash the window with?
My
A
foot.
sledgehammer? Your foot. That's how mad you were at this person, allegedly, assumingly? You boot kicked the window in at the age of what? How old are you, Trevor? Please don't say 22.
I believe I was 20 years old.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, it was one of those things.
Okay.
I turned around in a moment of anger and just swung my foot and ended up kicking
Okay,
kicking
you know
in the
what?
window.
Trevor, if you want to go for a walk after work today, need a hug or something, like, I got you, man. I didn't know you had that in you. Like, I stopped bullying people at 8 years old. You stopped at 20. That's crazy, dude. Anyways, next comment. Oh, man. Trevor, man, you scared me, man. Dale Smith saying it's going to take a couple years to get back to where we were last year. I don't agree with this. I believe in miracles. I believe in aliens. And I believe that Trevor and I next week, we're going to do an episode on how we can become the Florida Panthers. If they can do it, we can do it too. Trevor said that. I believe him. And there's a way to do it. But now it's time for Alvin and Rutherford to be the MVPs of the Vancouver Canucks.
Kyle, do you believe they can do it?
Of course, man. I'm West Coast bias. I'm a good neighbor. Unlike you kicking in windows. Like, you don't even understand who's on the other side of that glass window. Could have been somebody's cat, somebody's parrot. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could have been. What if it was right beside a dinner table and boom, bam, next thing you know, somebody's got glass in their Cheerios, right? But they didn't notice the window broke because they're deaf and they took a bite of the Cheerios.
It could happen, man. And I go to them and be like, I eat that for breakfast, man. I eat it for
Holy,
breakfast.
you're mad.
Let's go.
You're a mad guy. Do you think they can do it though? Straight up.
Yeah, I was believing them quite a bit before the last couple of months, right? And my hope is that they take a long, hard look in the mirror about the panic moves that they made over the past few months and say that, frankly, that wasn't good enough and that they would have been in a better position to succeed this offseason if they hadn't made those panic moves. So, of course, you're at a spot where you want to make the playoffs now, especially with Quinn Hughes. Like, I believe that much more than I did in the Jim Benning era. But you also have to have the long game approach as well. And, one thing that this management team has done a really good job of is pro scouting. They brought in, for the most part, good players to this organization. And honestly, they've done pretty well in the amateur scouting side of things too. Like, look at a guy like DPD stepping in and looking like a full-time NHLer. I mean, even the guy they traded away to Pittsburgh, Melvin Fernstrom, wins SHL Rookie of the Year. I mean, he had a pretty fantastic season over there. Lecker Mackey looks like good value at 15. So they've done a good job. Ty Mueller succeeding in Abbotsford. I think there's countless examples on the pro and amateur side that this management team knows what they're doing, but they just can't be making the panic moves because they'd made a lot of smart moves early on in the tenure. And even the trades, I'd say, for Lindholm and Zadorov, like 4 cup contenders, those are the trades you make. And again, the Canucks were one win away from maybe even being in the conference finals last year. So I think they've done a lot of the right things. So I do still have faith, but I think they got to learn from their mistakes over the past couple of months here.
And just rip teams off, man. No more Mr. Nice Guy.
Rip them up.
No, I mean, in reality, Trevor, and again, we've been all over the place this episode. Thanks for sticking around. Hit the like button and subscribe. I know, again, Trevor and I, it's hard. It's hard. May 23rd, you can watch just 2 episodes of Locked On Canucks. This is one of the 5 hardest jobs in the world, allegedly. Okay, this is very tough. That's why it's led to, like, all this random shit today. But doesn't it come down to this, Trevor? Like, if we want what's best for the Canucks, Jim Rutherford and Patrick Alvin, they can't sleep anymore. I don't want them getting no, they can sleep, but I want them working 16 hours a day. That's how you make up for what happened last year. And Miller versus Patterson isn't their fault, but they hired a guy who couldn't handle that, and that's Rick Tocchet. Couldn't fix that issue. That would have saved the franchise. So all in all, like I just want them working as hard as possible and picking up the phone, making moves, and pulling off a miracle, man. Pulling off a miracle. And it always goes back to Matt Barzal. And I feel as if something's gonna happen, bro. My intuition is also telling me that. And it's gonna be a big time player, and we're not gonna give up a lot for that big time player. We'll be surprised, and we're gonna be like, damn, that's all we had to do. Boom, bam.
I love it, man. I love it. Matt Barzal coming to the Canucks. See some talk about Dylan Larkin in the comments as well. Well, the Canucks got to do something. They need another elite forward. If they can get that elite forward, get some internal improvement, and keep the bulk of this blue line together, get some more health in net, like there is a path next season. Like it is not all doom and gloom at this point, but they need a number of things to go right. Now, Kyle, before we get out of here, let's do this for Callum Sandu, a.k.a. Callum McKenzie, a.k.a. the people here on Locked On Canucks. I'm going to rip through this in about 45 seconds. It's the GOATs of the Abbey Canucks so far from the AHL playoffs.
Damn, Trevor.
Come on, buddy. Come on. Just go.
Trevor.
Be into it, man. Be into it. Okay, 45 seconds for the Abbotsford Canucks.
Trevor, where's this music coming? Trevor, I'm 32 and a half years old. We're podcasting right now. You want me to talk about the Abbotsford Canucks, man? Okay, congratulations. Congratulations. I just ordered the jersey. Congratulations, man. Congratulations. Convince me, bro.
I'm proud of you, man. Okay. Number one, the best Abbotsford Canucks so far easily has been Valentino Martini, the local man of mystery. Dude, he is skating out there. He's banging bodies. He's killing penalties. He's scoring goals from in front of the net. Man, is this guy better than Tom Willander? Unbelievable, man.
Oh.
Valentino Martini, the best player so far for your Abbotsford Canucks. Number two, Sammy Blais. We're like the blaze of glory here in Vancouver. Maybe it does have an NHL, another NHL job in his future. 11 points in 10 games. Number three, Linus Karlsson. I've been a little iffy at even strength, I'd say, for the past couple of games, but he's been chipping it with power play goals. Gets the overtime winner for your Abbotsford Canucks of the night as well. So I have him at number three. Number four, maybe I disrespect this guy because I have seen a couple soft goals, but Archer Shilov's, man, oh man, 7-2 so far in the playoffs, 17 goals allowed in 10 games, and .931 save percentage. This guy, at the very least, might be turning himself into a trade chip, but maybe he is part of the future here, some way, shape, or form with the Vancouver Canucks. And number five, I'm giving it to Max Sasson, just playing his ass off every game, scoring goals in big moments. There could be some NHL games in his future as well. Boom, bam, the Abbotsford Canucks, if they win tonight in Colorado, they would take the series 3-1, and they could move on to the conference finals in the AHL playoffs.
Well, Max Sasson obviously did good in the NHL this season as well when he got his chance. And I just wonder if he's a full-timer next year. Somehow, some way. I think he's talented. I think there's a floor to him, for real. And Valentino Martini Mancini III, we boasted about him yesterday. And I can't wait to see the progress. And yeah, Archer Shilovs, man. You said, maybe he's making himself a trade piece again. And I want to preface too, if we're gonna talk about why the Canucks failed in 2025 and Demko's injury and blah blah blah. How about Tocchett's inability to refine confidence within his players? Because if Archer Shilovs again found his game early on with the Canucks, the real ones, as opposed to waiting till May to find his with Abbotsford, like the Canucks are in the playoffs too. You need 7 more points, right? Anyways, I want to get to one more comment before we get out of here. And you know what? Everyone give a round of applause to Skylar, man. Skylar, the MVP of the episode today. I just want to apologize again for doing what I did, 24 and a half years ago. And Skylar's saying, I've been a garbage man for 15 years, and I'm only 31. Holy legend. A real man, okay? I would remember if somebody threw something at me. However, I would rather catch a pine cone to the head than Manny's pass as coach. All in all, this is what I want to say, Scott. You know what? Thank you for cleaning up our streets. I think littering is disgusting. I really do. And I just want you to know the best things in life are coming for you. For real. And now you just became the number one fan of Locked On Canucks. I'm sorry to everyone else, but I'm telling you right now, there's not one fan out there that is more important than you. And based on everything that you've done. Thanks for the $10, Canucks fan. Okay, besides Mancini and Shelovs, I have really liked Son these playoffs with his speed and stick play. I can see him as a bottom six center next season or the season after for Vancouver. Okay, so ended on this note, Mr. Biggest Abbotsford Canucks fan, Trevor Beggs. Tell us why Max Hassan is actually the number 2 center of the Vancouver Canucks next season, and why are you laughing? And we're going to be fine.
Well, his competition right now is what? Teddy Bluger and Atu Ratu. So, hey, never say never, man. Look, but I think Max Hassan just steps up in clutch moments. I mean, can't remember who it was, if it was early in the AHL playoffs or at the end of the regular season, but he scored just a beautiful end-to-end goal. And Colorado the other night when Colorado's getting some chances, Max Hassan basically does it himself in the offensive zone, snipes it home. I mean, his speed is evident in the NHL. It's really evident in the AHL as well. And he's just a smart, cerebral player overall, a guy that works his ass off. He's well-spoken. I do think Max Hassan has an NHL future, and I think he showed that this season. And man, oh man, number 2 center on the Vancouver Canucks. That's I would really need to smoke have a Sammy Blaze after this to believe it, but never say never, man.
Okay. Anyways, on that note, my name's Kyle Bound. That right there is Trevor Beggs. Allegedly, assumingly, we're podcasters, and I threw a pine cone at a garbage man 24 years ago. I should have went to jail for that. Allegedly, Trevor almost murdered a family that was drinking porridge around a dinner table by kicking
Goldilocks,
kicking a window in for no reason, just because he's mad because his parlay didn't hit. Unreal. I can't believe you, man. Back in the day, I used to egg houses too, allegedly I use soft boiled eggs, so it's the most convenient way to. Okay. That was Locked On Canucks. Peace out.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.